Hello, everyone. Welcome to Aligning with Purpose, a podcast where we explore themes of finding your true purpose, from quitting corporate, moving cities, practicing holistic health, and more. Join me as we discover our purposes together. My name is Julie Oshinaga, and I'm so happy you're here. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. Today I'll be talking about my 2025 reflections, and for those that celebrate, Merry Christmas. I am really excited to talk about everything that's happened this year. I'm sure this year was long for many, and we've gone through so much transformation in this whole year. So I'm here to talk about that and also talk about our 2026 New Year's resolutions. I am someone who doesn't really do resolutions anymore, but as I am thinking about goal setting, I was like, why not? Maybe it'll be fun to do. So let's talk about our resolutions together and see if there's anything that we can accomplish together for the next year. So let's get right into today's topic. Before I get started, I do want to talk about our Beauty and Humanity segment as always. And I haven't been out in the last couple days except for work, if I'm being honest. So there hasn't been much that I had been seeing. However, I was reflecting back on my childhood, and there were two specific moments that I remembered that have stuck with me because they were such kind gestures, and sometimes the smallest, kindest gestures are the ones that stick with you. Looking back to the past, since that's what we're doing with this podcast episode 2, I want to talk about the two moments I found beauty in. And the first one was when I was in first grade. I was new to the school. We had just moved from Illinois for my dad's Air Force. And I was the new kid in school, and there's recess and there's snack time during first grade and during elementary school. But my mom didn't know that, so I didn't have any snack packed for me. And that's not her fault at all. We just had no idea. So we're going off to snack time, and the teacher asked, does everyone have a snack? I remember I didn't have one, so I forgot if I raised my hand. This was such a long time ago at this point, like years and years ago. But I didn't have a snack, and she kind of called out to the class, does anyone have an extra snack that you can share with Julie? And so this really kind boy, I still remember his name to this day because it was so kind. He gave me his strawberry Go-Gurt in those long, I don't know, it was like a foot long yogurt stick. And that moment really stuck with me because he just shared it because he was being kind. But for me as a little girl, it was really sweet that I didn't have to feel left out anymore. And yeah, that's a moment that really stuck with me for many years. And I'm 29 right now. And that happened when I was 6 or 7 years old. And 20 plus years later, that moment has stuck. There was another thing that happened in college where I had to print my paper, and I didn't know we needed physical coins to pay for the paper. I thought we could just pay with a card, but we needed physical coins. I believe that was the case. Or maybe it was just cash in general, but I didn't have cash on me. I only had a card. So I was struggling to pay for this paper. And the lady that was trying to print out my paper said it's 10 cents a page, and I only needed one page. And someone that had just been walking by, they noticed that I needed 10 cents, so they pulled out 10 cents from their pocket and they handed it to the lady for me. And that saved me so much because I was in a rush to get to my class that day already. But the fact that they had been so kind enough to help me out, I just won't forget that moment. And those were two instances from my childhood and my early adulthood where it was a small but really kind and, what's the word? It was a really big moment for me because it made me remember that, oh wow, there are so many people that are so good. And I say that every episode, but I think that is the emphasis here, is that there is a lot of good happening. And of course, in a world where there's a lot of bad things happening too, there's also a lot of good. And I want to be on the side of good. And when things like that happen, it reminds me that it's important for us to pay it forward. And I hope that this segment can really help us reflect and also do the right things so we can be also on the side of good. So with that, Merry Christmas, and let's get right into today's topic. I honestly can't believe that we're in our last week of 2025, and I am reflecting so much right now because we are at the end of the year and so much has happened this year, so many good things, so many hard things, and I know it's like many other years where it goes by really quickly and slow at the same time. But this year for me has been one of the most transformational years, and I am so grateful that I was able to take some of the steps towards creating the life that I want to have. If it weren't for dealing with fear in the way that I did this year, I don't think I would have had as much breakthrough as I would have in other years. And for that, I am really, really grateful for it. So today's episode's really going to serve as sort of like my year-end journal diary of how I feel and what I've really gone through this year. And hopefully my reflections on my year can spark some inspiration for reflection for your year and all the things that you accomplished this year, because it is a really big milestone to get through every year and everything that we really go through. So kudos to you for getting through another year. To start off, I want to list out the things that I did this year. I first quit corporate, and then I moved to New York. After I moved to New York, I took on 2 hospitality jobs. I never talked about the other one since it was sort of irrelevant at this point, but I'm still at one of the hospitality jobs working as a server. After that, I started freelancing for a couple clients. I also made a ton of new friends, a new community in New York City. I tried flag football for the first time, which is really out of my comfort zone since I grew up doing dance and ice skating, and I stayed away from anything that was related to a ball and a team because I didn't want to let anyone down. Needless to say, I really enjoyed flag football, and then I tried volleyball for the first time this year, and I also really enjoyed it. As I'm getting older, I'm realizing, oh, maybe it was my lack of confidence when I was younger that was stopping me from trying things like sports with balls, like volleyball, flag football, basketball, you name it, right? And the fear of letting someone down prevented me from taking action on the things that probably would have brought me happiness, because now doing volleyball with my friends brings me a lot of happiness. There's a little bit of a competitive spirit. There's a lot of laughter. It's just overall such a great way to hang out, stay active with friends, and you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. I also traveled to Europe for the first time, and specifically Italy, with my boyfriend, and that was such a great experience. I am closer to Europe now that I'm living in New York, and it was such a great excuse to start traveling there more often. So I do want to take advantage of going to Europe a little bit more while I'm still living in New York. I also started my podcast, which, if you're listening, thank you for joining. And there's a lot that has happened this year. I am so grateful that I get to live this life because, one, all of our lives are so unique and so individual to ourselves, and they're all so special in their own way. And it's really important for us to be grateful for the lives that we've been given, because we're here with our specific purpose, our mission, and to do the things that we're called to do and to learn about ourselves, to pursue our passions, and really live presently and to the fullest. That's exactly what I'm trying to do with my individual life, and take moments to be grateful for the life that I get to live. So reflecting on all the things that I did this year and taking a chance on myself, I'm left with a lot of gratitude, and I'm extremely grateful for all the opportunities that this life has given me. And I'm also really grateful for the life path that I'm on. Part of it is, how do I explain this? Part of the life that you live is you have many different life paths, right? Where you can take it in many different directions. But you also have to make the conscious decision to take that life path and to act on your free will to make sure you can live your dream life. So I am so grateful for the opportunities that I have been given, but I'm also so grateful for the opportunities that I created for myself this year. From quitting corporate, actively moving to New York, everything that I did this year was an active decision so I can live the best life and create that myself, since I know that I am the creator of my own reality. It was the first year where I wasn't on autopilot, where I let something else externally dictate how my life was going to look. Of course, with this, there are still so many challenges that come with making hard decisions, and it's not easy. I know I'm saying it like I've cracked the code, but definitely there's so much more to crack. And I think just from 1 year of trying it, it gave me so much hope that there is so much out there for you. And there's so much out there in terms of the opportunities that you're going to get, the breakthrough that you could get, the fear that you can overcome, the business that you want to start, and putting your mind and heart into it so then you can actually get it off the ground. Like, all those things are so possible. And if it weren't for putting more trust in myself, I think I would have stayed in a state of fear and a state of autopilot. So there is a lot of gratitude for the opportunities that I created for myself. I'm also grateful for the positive work environment that I was in this year. Coming from a corporate background where it was very toxic, going into the hospitality industry where I was treated as a human being, that was healing in a lot of ways. I know not all hospitality jobs are perfect, and I can't say that the one that I'm at is also perfect. But the positive thing about working where I'm working right now is that I feel like I'm respected as a human being first and foremost. My thoughts, my opinions matter here. I am not looked down upon. The interactions that I also have with customers, they are majority mainly pleasant, and it's been healing to feel like I am reclaiming who I am and not letting the negativity affect who I am. So for that, I am so grateful for my current work environment. I'm also grateful for my family and friends in LA. Without their support, I think it would have been a lot harder to move here. Even though it obviously is completely up to you to make any decision that you want out of your life, it was because everyone in my life up until New York had been so supportive that I had the comfort knowing that I would have a community back at home. That's not to say if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have made the same, or I wouldn't have made the same decision, because I still would have chosen myself and done what was right for me. But I want to take a moment to share my gratitude for my community back home, because sometimes the love that your family and your friends extend to you, they go a long way. I hope that I can always be someone that can support someone's journey, even if it's one that I don't understand. I think it's important for us to understand that they are living their timeline and their life, and mine is mine to live. My feelings are my feelings. And I don't want my lack of perspective to limit someone else in what they're doing or make them feel bad about what they're experiencing. So I just wanted to say that because I'm just so grateful that everyone has been so supportive. And I want to also be that person when someone is making a hard leap of faith for their life. And lastly, I am also grateful for my friends in New York right now. The community that I met here has been so incredible. And it's hard to think that if I had never moved here, I would have never met my friends here. One thing about meeting people in New York is everyone is it's not that they're just ambitious. They also are doing their own thing in life, and they have their path that they're on, where I feel less judgment here. And when I say I work at a restaurant and this is what I'm doing, I'm met with, that is so cool, and it's encouraging. And everyone here They're either a creative pursuing something, or at least the people that I've met, they are creative doing something that is part of their passion, or they're grinding in their corporate job, but they have so many other passions that they're working towards. There's so many people that are trying to pursue different avenues. And I think it's so cool that there's such a diversity in the type of work everyone's doing here. And there's so much support for all types of people. This is a tangent. I don't know if it's because we take public transportation in New York, where you're surrounded by so many different types of people that you're naturally a little bit more accepting of someone that's not like you. And in LA, you're in a car all day long. So I don't know if that contributes to more of the segregation of communities and types of people and whatnot. But here, it just feels more community oriented. And I don't want to take away from LA. There's no hate to the city that raised me, that I was born in, but there's just so much beauty in both cities. And right now I am giving a lot of love to where I get to live and where I get to experience a lot of my new adult transformations in. I will say this year has also been one of the most uncomfortable years that I've ever had. And this year wasn't short of discomfort. There was a lot of growing pains, changes, not knowing what was next, and all those things combined can send your mind into a little bit of a spiral and feeling like there's a lot of fear, because I did have a lot of fear. But I am also here to say that even though discomfort isn't fun, there's so much value in discomfort, because when you're feeling discomfort, that's when your path is sort of at a crossroads where you can really open yourself up to the unknown and push yourself and create a new path that you haven't even imagined yet. Or maybe you're imagining, but you're too scared to get to. And the other path is obviously staying in the same one that you're in. And maybe there's multiple paths that are unknown that you just haven't unlocked yet. But the state of discomfort is there because you are unlocking something that you haven't yet discovered. And that is a really beautiful place to be. And I say that because sometimes it's all about perspective. And when our perspective is, oh my God, this is really scary and we should fear this, you're going to stay stuck in that perspective. And it's going to be harder for you to work through the tough moments. Whereas if you're able to see the perspective that this is a really positive thing, this new pathway unlocking for me, that's when you have more courage to pursue that new path that could open up to you. And this year has been nothing short of that. There had been so many moments where I had that fear. A lot happening in the beginning of the year where I quit the corporate job, and that was really scary, especially because I moved to New York with, no job, and I knew that I was going to find a restaurant job, and I took that chance on myself. That was really scary, but I knew that I had to do it, and it was the right choice. The other one was moving to New York. Although I had always wanted to do it, I was so stuck in fear that it took more months for me to get here than if I had making the leap of faith earlier. And there's obviously way more this year. And there's another one that I'm going through right now that I'll share at a later date. But there's just so many things that you could open yourself up to if you work past your discomfort. And just remember that just because you're feeling discomfort doesn't mean that it's a bad thing. Oftentimes, it's a really good thing. There's so much value in it, and you get to create your dream life by feeling the discomfort sometimes. The feeling of discomfort, once you get past that threshold, you're forced to work with it, and you're forced to try out the new things that you hadn't done. So it rewires your brain a little bit because your brain is having to challenge itself and create new neurological pathways. And when I tried new things, those things helped me get out of my slump a little bit. I had a new sense of motivation to keep going and to do more. And I don't know if I've ever shared this on this podcast, but when I started doing this, I was really scared for the amount of work that it was going to take. And that was one of the reasons why it took me so long to start. And not gonna lie, it was a lot of work. It still is a lot of work, and it'll continue to be a lot of work. But I knew that starting this podcast was going to be a ton of work, It was going to be hours and hours and hours of editing, recording, getting the skill set to be in front of a camera, which I'm still figuring out. And there is so many things that were preventing me from doing it. But once I started doing it, and once I had to challenge my brain to know that this is part of my life now and I'm going to keep doing it, I had more motivation. I had more motivation to not only just do this podcast, but to also pursue more things in my life that I felt called to do or that I felt a purpose in. This motivation would be something that I would have never gained if I didn't take a chance on myself and push past the discomfort. Last year in 2024, I see the transformation a little bit. I was feeling a lot of dread in 2024. I lacked motivation. I was in a rut. I was in a cycle that I couldn't break out of, or it was put on because of myself, right? And I had a lot of fear. This year, I flipped the script and I started to live in the discomfort, go for things that I was scared in, push past my fear. That turned into more motivation, and I started to slowly break the cycle for myself. Is it perfect? No, but I will say there are small incremental changes, and I am extremely proud of myself for doing all those things. And I say this not to shove that in anyone's faces. It's not that at all. It's, again, a journal entry for myself, audio, video, journal entry for myself, but also to share that anyone can do it. If you have the dream of doing something, then you're dreaming about it because it's in your timeline. And it's up to you to work through your fear and push past your discomfort to go for those things, because it can be yours and it is yours, but you have to reframe your mind and you have to work through it to get there. It's all in your power, and you have to know how strong and how powerful you are to be able to do those things. It all starts with you and to work through those things. And those are the lessons that I gained this year. It takes courage to grow. It takes intention. It takes effort. It takes self-worth, discipline, and trusting yourself that you can create that reality for yourself. And those are all things that everyone has or has the ability to tap into. It's a matter of tapping into it and listening to yourself and what you need and what you want to actually pursue. Being proud of yourself really allows you to also keep going. If you achieve, that's when you get caught in a cycle of thinking about the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And your goalpost keeps getting pushed forward. And when you do that, that's great, right? You're achieving a lot. But why are you doing it? That reflection and that point to be proud of yourself is critical. So you know that what you're doing is aligned with who you are, and you're also doing it because it's for you. And you're not just doing it out of a cycle of trauma or whatever the case may be, right? If this year didn't go the way that you wanted it to, then that's okay, because you ultimately have the control in where your life is going to go. And it's never too late to try again or to start on the dream that you want. I could have been stuck in my corporate environment. And I keep saying corporate because for me, that was a really big part of my journey. I'm not saying that because I am trying to convince everyone to quit. I know that by referencing it, that's how it might come across sometimes, but that's not really the point of this podcast. It's more so to share that everyone has different purposes, and what is it for you that you're going to align with your purpose. For me, it was quitting corporate, so hence why I reference quitting a lot. For others, it's going to look a little bit different. So it's giving a resource to everyone to discover those things. So I just wanted to clarify that just because I'm saying quitting corporate all the time doesn't mean that I think that everyone should do that, or that if you're in a corporate job, I think less of that, because that's not the case. So sorry about that tangent. So what I wanted to say was, if I didn't quit corporate and if I had stayed stuck in that cycle, then I would have never taken a chance on myself to pursue the dream I wanted to. I probably would have taken a really long time to move to New York. I probably wouldn't have taken the chance to do entrepreneurial things like I wanted to. And I would have felt in a rut because I wasn't doing the things that my soul was calling me to do. You really have the choice every single day, every single year to do something good for yourself. And if you take back control of what you want and taking agency of your life, then you can really change the trajectory and the course of your life. You don't have to stay stuck in the cycle that you're in. And it is never ever too late to do anything, because there's like a couple things I'm thinking. One, there's this narrative that we're supposed to complete everything by end of our 20s or 30s, and then we retire in our 60s. And that is such a negative way to look at it. We live on average 80 years, right, in the US. And we have so many years to accomplish and to evolve as human beings and as ourselves to become a better person and to pursue our purposes. So why not use every single year, every single decade to take back control of your life? You don't have to listen to an arbitrary timeline and to think that you have to get things done by a certain time, because that is just completely false. You have the agency to take ownership of it, and it's fully up to you to do that. I hope that makes sense. Things will also not always be an upward trend. Everything is going to ebb and flow. And when you're in that discomfort, it's a matter of working with it, because sometimes you're gonna fail forward and sometimes you're gonna succeed, and that's gonna feel great. But challenging yourself comes with so many new lessons, and they can't all be positive, because if they are, then there is no balance for you to understand the other side of it. A lot of the times you have to heal individually as a person, which is really hard. And as you heal more, then you're more aware of who you are, so you can call in more for yourself. So that applies to even the things that you want to accomplish. There's gonna be a little bit of a failure or a setback or whatever the hardship is, because you're meant to grow from those things, to continue to move along and to fail forward, to succeed. And all those steps are so critical. So just because you took that step and leap of faith and it's not always upwards, that's okay, because you're doing it and you're working towards creating that reality for yourself. And just know that you have all the ability to make anything happen. And this year was the year that I really gained that confidence to feel that way. And, even starting this podcast in the beginning, I had so much imposter syndrome. Even though I knew deep down in my soul and my gut that I had the capacity to do this, I knew that I was capable of it. But your mind has this way to trick you into thinking that you aren't capable of the things that you are actually capable of. And it's important to not listen to your mind when it comes to that, because you need to fight that, and you can't let your imposter syndrome or your fear or anything stop you. You have to learn to work with it so you can get past it, because the confidence is deep inside there. You have to just learn to let it come out a little bit more and to grow it, because if you water it, it's going to continue to grow. And if you challenge yourself, you're going to continue to find more moments of, okay, I was able to do that thing. Now I can do this thing. And then your confidence is naturally going to grow. So continue to water those things and don't let that fear overtake you. All those things to say, that is pretty much the summary and my reflection of this year. All the things that I did this year led to all those thoughts, and I hope that some of this can be helpful to you, because my lesson and my learnings from everything was that we as people, we are so much more capable of a lot of stuff or anything than we know. Oftentimes we are the only ones that is in our way as much as we are. So take the moment to pat yourself on the back for getting through this year, all the things you accomplished, even if you feel like it wasn't fully the year that you wanted to have. Still give yourself the pat on the back, because I bet you can point out a handful, 10 things that you accomplished this year that you can be proud of, because you still went through this year and you did it. So take this moment to think about those things and be proud of yourself and keep going, because I know you can do it. I'm going to keep doing it. We're going to keep each other accountable. And I'm excited for 2026. So now let's get into our 2026 resolutions. I haven't made a New Year's resolution in, I don't know how long it's been. It's been a really long time. I haven't made New Year's resolutions in several years. And I've always had mixed feelings about them because, one, for example, people make the resolution to sign up for the gym and start going every day. So that's why in the beginning of the year, there are so many people at the gym. And then by February, March, it's back to the normal numbers. I use that as an example because I am guilty of this too. I used to push myself past what I can actually handle, what I can physically, energetically handle. And because of that, the goals that I would create, the resolutions that I would create were never sustainable. In order to create sustainable resolutions, it has to be gradual and it has to align and make sense for us. So because of that, I've really stayed away from creating resolutions in the last few years. But the concept I really do like about New Year's resolutions is that it is symbolic of the year ending and then the year starting again, where you turn the page and you can create a better life for yourself. So when I think about that symbolically, I think it is very beautiful. It is a really good time to set goals for yourself, but setting them in an intentional way where they're more achievable is probably going to be key for us to be able to set them. So with that in mind, I thought of a few things that I wanted to implement for my 2026. So I have 7 resolutions and I'm going to walk you through all of them. The first one is I want to be consistent with my spiritual practice. I brought this up in episode 10, I believe. It was 9 or 10. It was my unscripted series. And I talked about how I have a spiritual morning routine. And there are days where I have been really bad about getting to them. So this year, I really want to, or in 2026, I really want to be intentional about it. And maybe doing every day is going to be tough. And I don't want to fall off again. So I'm going to commit to doing it every other day and to be really intentional about doing it every other day. So number 2 is gratitudes. I really want to do gratitudes every single day. And that's going to be really tough. I started off with 10 gratitudes last year and I fell off within 4 months. So this year, I'm going to start off with 5. And while I'm sitting doing my grounding exercise after that, when I'm in a comfortable position, I'm going to do it right after. So then I don't forget about them. And again, I'll start off with every other day and then work my way up to every day. Let's see how that goes. I'll do a little check-in maybe midway through the year. Maybe that's a little late. Maybe I'll do it like 4 months in to see how I'm doing with my resolutions and see if I'm actually keeping up with them. If you're setting some up for yourself, you can write them down. And then by the time I put out that episode, we can see if we've done it and keep each other accountable. The third one is I want to build a better sleep habit. And this one has been probably the hardest one because I am a night owl through and through. I stay up so late. My roommate, she is more of a night owl than I am. So I think because of that, we both, naturally stay up later together. By next year, I want to sleep by 11 p.m., latest midnight, and I want to be up by 8 a.m. Ooh, that one is hard. 8 a.m. on the days that I am not working out in the mornings. But that one's going to be the hardest one. We'll see how that one goes. I think that one is a stretch. That is a resolution that I can fall off of. So let's just say on weekdays, I want to sleep by 11 p.m. or midnight. And then on weekdays, I will try my best to wake up by 8:30 a.m. We'll see how that goes. Resolution number 4 is I want to start running twice a month. In LA, by the last several months that I was there, I joined run club. So I wanted to run once a week. And I was also, if I wasn't doing run club, I was doing a cardio heavy workout class. So it was either Orange Theory or Barry's doing like a running class. So this year I want to get back into that again. I'll start off with doing twice a month because I think that is a lower commitment. There's 31 days in a month. So doing twice a month is not that bad. It's once every 2 weeks. If I can hit more, great, but I'm not going to overextend myself so I don't fall off, because the goal is to really keep it up and to keep doing the things that are in your resolutions. Okay, then number 5 is drink more water. Again, this is one that I was really good about doing in LA. I have this hydro flask right here that I really love. This is a 32-ounce water bottle if you're watching this on YouTube. I used to probably drink over 2 of these a day. And I think that is pretty standard, but I was just good about my water intake. But now that I'm working at a restaurant job, I get really lazy to go to the bathroom because it gets busy sometimes, and I really get scared of leaving my customers too long without me being around. So I go long periods of time without going to the bathroom. I don't drink as much water. So I want to be kinder to my body, drink more water, go to the bathroom if I need to, because that is the healthy thing to do. I need to take care of myself first so I can take care of the people around me. And that is something I need to remind myself of. Something I've gotten good in, but something that I also need to keep reminding myself in many departments. So let's all drink more water together next year. The last 2 are my favorite ones. And number 6 is the resolution to call home weekly. Now that I've moved to New York, I have to admit I haven't been the best at calling my parents every week. I feel terrible about it. As this podcast picked up and as, my life has picked up, doing the things that I know I should be doing has been put to the back burner. And I don't want to do that any longer. My goal is to call my parents home weekly so I can connect with them. And that's important because I am no longer a 30-minute drive from home where I was visiting every other week. It's going to be important for me to set intentional time to see and talk to my parents, because if I don't make the time for it, then it's going to continue to be pushed back, and that isn't okay. So I'm excited to implement that one. And the last one is reading 30 minutes every other day. I've always wanted to read more. I always look at my Kindle wanting to read it more and more, but that is also one thing that gets put to the back burner. My schedule, my to-do list piles up, and reading becomes something that I just put to the side. Yet I have so much time to scroll on Instagram and social media and TikTok. So I was thinking, why not replace the 30 minutes that I'm scrolling on social media and replace that with reading? And that's going to take a lot concerted effort, but it's going to be important for me to do because I am actively and intentionally trading out doom scrolling and doing things that are not good for me with something that is going to be building better habits. So next year is all about building better habits, doing things more consistently, even if it's slowly, and implementing things to better my mental, physical, and spiritual health. I hope we can all set goals for ourselves that make sense for us and not overextend ourselves because we don't want to fall off. And I am really, really hoping that these ones are going to be an easy way into the new year. Yeah. In 4 months, let's check in and I will have a quick update on the resolutions. And I'm excited to keep each other accountable together. We have so much to look forward to in 2026. It's truly up to us to define what our year is going to look like. If you're feeling the dread, if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling all the negative energy from 2025, right now is the chance for you to let it go, release it, and to really take good energy into this next year and to make it your own, because you have the ability to do that. And let's say you don't do that right away. That's okay. You can always start fresh, even if it's in March, even if it's in May, July, whatever the month is. We're going to try our best in 2026 to put more into ourselves and create a better reality for ourselves and to live our lives to the fullest. So with that, I want to wish everyone a happy, actually, it's not even New Year's yet. I will have an episode on New Year's Day. So with that, I want to wish everyone a happy end of 2025, a Merry Christmas, and I'm really excited to see you guys in the new year. This is my last episode for 2025. Thank you for supporting so far, and I'm really excited for what 2026 has for both me and you. And if you enjoyed today's podcast episode, Please follow, subscribe on Spotify, any of your favorite streaming platforms, on YouTube. And if you can rate, comment, subscribe, that would be super duper helpful to me if you enjoyed the episode. I'm also searchable on Instagram and TikTok. Those handles are going to be at aligningwithpurpose.pod and at Julioshi, JULIYOSHI. And I am so excited to bring more content, more podcast episodes to you in the new year. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful Christmas and the last few remaining days of the year. And I'll catch you in the new year. Thanks, everyone. Goodbye.